microphone here.
No, it's over there. It's catching.
All right, if you bear with us. Oh, yeah. All right. We are back. Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties. Still, things are a little bit different, but we'll see how it goes. All right. Just real quick, just you know, like we said, we have the other offerings here, and then we'll just hop into the topic. All right. As I always say, there's a lot going on out here in the world, as people all know. We have a lot of stuff, whether you're looking at uh, racial issues, religion, politics, any of those things. But the one topic that we're going to talk about today kind of encapsulates all of that stuff. And it comes to revenge, good old fashioned revenge. Um, Now, there's been, you know, stories all over the place, news all over the place when it comes to revenge. But what we're going to talk about today when it comes to revenge is, you know, because we have a lot of people who are losing their jobs. And sometimes you're hearing stories about people um, acting out when they lose their jobs. Or we're having people who are losing other services because the government cutbacks, healthcare, um, and SNAP, and other little things like that, where people are getting angry and they want to get back. They want to get some payback, some revenge. This is an issue that we're continuously having. Unfortunately, we just had some killings that happened recently. People want to make a statement. They feel wronged or they want to get revenge. Even right now, when we're looking at what's going on internationally across, different countries, a lot of these issues and a lot of these conflicts come down to old-fashioned revenge. People just want revenge. They want their payback. And so the question then becomes, well, what is the difference? Or where's the line that comes into play when you're getting revenge versus you're getting justice? And so we know, we sit back and as Christians, we sit back and we look and vengeance is mine, says the Lord. And we look back and we see other things where we know that we're supposed to turn the other cheek, and we look at how we're supposed to kind of compose ourselves as people of faith. And we try to compose ourselves like that in the real world. When people come and they ask, or we discuss, where is the line between revenge and justice? And so we sit back here. Is it all right? When people are getting fired from their jobs, or people feel like they've done you wrong, people are losing their services, and they want to be restored, or they want to get a new job, or they want to get their services back, but they don't want to just let go of the fact that somebody may have done them wrong. And so there's the revenge part of, I need to get them back and hurt them the way they hurt me, or there's the part where they say justice, where I need it to be equitable, where they need to pay for what they've done so that they can't do it to somebody else. And so the real world conversation and that we have is, when we're out here and we're doing things, where's the line? What's the difference between revenge and justice? And is it the same thing? Is it different? Is it how you approach it? If you are coming back because you're trying to hurt someone else, is it revenge? And if you're coming back and you're trying to prevent someone else from continuing to do bad, is it justice? Where does the line come into play? And so right now, what we do is we have people, we have people who want to fight back. Um, and a lot. Let's look at it on a broader scale. When people are looking at their rights and they're saying, "Well, we have to fight back," and you know, um, we need to be able to fight injustice, or we need to be able to fight discrimination, or we need to be able to fight whatever issue that you feel coming along. Where's the line? Where's the line of we're trying to get revenge, we're trying to get payback, or we're trying to get justice. We're trying to make sure things are fair and equitable. And it seems like it's a clear cut line. It seems like it's a clear cut thing sometimes, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is. If you're going to jail, if someone gets arrested for something and they go to jail, and you're sitting back and they've done you wrong, is it justice that you're looking for to get, or is it revenge? Is sending them to jail is because you want to get justice? You want to get they need to pay for what they've done in the legal system, or is it to make you feel better and you're getting revenge? Because the reality of the matter is, when we look at a lot of times when we look at punishments and what happens to people, there's no real benefit there. Somebody's going to jail and they say, "Well, we're sending people to jail to rehabilitate them." We don't really put services and money and efforts towards rehabilitating people. We're usually just trying to get, well, you've done a crime, and so you need to go to jail for this many years. There's no real rehabilitation there. So then when we're doing that, what are we doing? Are we just trying to get revenge? Or is there something else going on? And so I'll say, when we're doing these things, when people are doing stuff, they're trying to get themselves restored. If you felt like somebody did you wrong because they stole something from you, or they took something from you, again, when we're talking about a lot of these benefits and jobs and other things that are going on right now, if somebody took something from you and you're just trying to get it back, then I think that you're trying to get restored. You're trying to get a just treatment for yourself. Now, if what we're doing then, I guess, is we want the other person to pay, I think we're looking for revenge. And I think that one of the issue at hand is trying to decide, well, what is revenge? What is not revenge? What is being just and what is not being just? And how are we approaching that as people nowadays, in society nowadays? Do we even know the difference between trying to pay somebody back and revenge, or do we even feel like payback is wrong? A lot of people don't. I remember, there's a lot of people to this day, they teach their kids, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. Now, I don't know what's the rationale or the reason there. Is that they think that that's justice? I think that's revenge. And I think what we're doing is we're teaching revenge at a young age. And we're teaching that you need to get back at folk. And if we're going to be Christians, and we're going to be people who again, we vengeance says the Lord. If we're going to be the people who turn the other cheek, if we're going to be the people who don't seek to hurt others, well, then I think that we have to change that type of thought process to be able to get out of the revenge stage and into the let's move on stage. Let's not sit back and try to fight fire with fire stage. And unfortunately, I think that that's a lot of where we are nowadays. The best example is what we see with all these countries. These countries are fighting each other. All these wars that are going on, and they're just throwing bombs. They're killing people and trying to kill people back. It's not about, well, why did you do this, or what kind of negotiation and conversation that we have. It's, I need to get revenge. I need to get payback. I need to feel good about that you hurt like I hurt. We have a comment. Most of us have no idea what justice really means. You are right. Many times we are motivated more by revenge and other emotions. Yeah. So I think that's right. We take an example. We look at we look at Israel and we look at Hamas and Gaza, and Israel basically said they wanted to get. So when Hamas came and did the horrific acts of coming in and killing over 1,000 people, and then capturing a bunch of folk as well, taking hostages. Uh, there was a lot of talk of justice. They were like, all right, Israel needs to come in there and they need to get justice and they need to get the hostages back. But as it went from as it went over time, and over 60,000 people lost their lives, men, women, children, not soldiers, just innocent people. You saw that this had nothing to do with justice. This had nothing to do with even, just purely trying to get hostages back. This was a revenge tool. Wasn't even a situation where we had some military goals where we really needed to make sure that we, put ourselves in a situation where we could be safe and secure. It was a revenge tool. When you're just indiscriminately blowing everything up and killing people, that is a revenge tool. But a lot of people thought, well, no, they're just trying to get justice, or they're trying to, move themselves into situations of where they can feel safe. I don't think people understood the difference between revenge. It's revenge. And so even now, you've gotten all of all of the hostages have come back. All the living hostages have come back, and they're working on most of the bodies of the hostages, the remaining bodies of the hostages who have been deceased. The fighting has returned. A little bit of skirmishes are here and there, and so you can see, well, then what is it about? It looks like revenge. When we're talking about here in the United States, and we have political violence, and we're having people getting shot and killed, or you have people now trying to attack political leaders at their homes, and you see a lot of they just recently there was a guy who was just arrested who was trying to do a mass shooting at an airport. You have people who are just mad and they're just trying to get revenge. And I don't think that people understand the difference between revenge and justice. And I think that it's a mix up because of the way that I think we're teaching it as a society. We're teaching that revenge and justice is the same thing. We need street justice. I'm not the one to try to always blame it on pop culture, but I'll go ahead and go here anyway. That's what you see in our movies. That's the way we teach it in the movies. It's like, oh, you got to get your payback. That's how you see it in a lot of TV shows. You want to root for the person who got their payback. You're the hero because you went back and you took control and took it in your own hands, and you went out here and you beat up all the bad guys or the people who you perceive to be bad guys. And so it's kind of a societal thing or a cultural thing where we cheer for revenge. We cheer for the payback. That's what you get, And as many people who knows who have tried to get revenge, or how it is when you try to hurt somebody who's hurt you, it doesn't really make you feel any better. And so I think as Christians, we probably need to stick to what we're taught, because at the end of the day, the revenge doesn't make us feel much better. But now there is a big difference between trying to stop somebody from hurting others or stop somebody from continuing to do bad. And so I don't think that is revenge. If our goal is to stop the craziness from continuing, stop the person who's hurting from continuing to hurt, I think that's a different process and a different ballgame. Israel death ratio to hostages that were taken at the number of Palestinians is 1 to 50. That is not justice, it's revenge. Currently, they are not letting aid get through. Not justice, revenge, hate. And I think that's where it all goes. especially in the Israel situation. And they've been doing that for years. It's always, even before this particular situation, it was, one Israeli would be killed, and then Israel would come back and they would kill 100, or they would kill 10 or 100 for everyone that was killed, and that was their idea of justice. But it's always just revenge, because you're not even operating on an eye for an eye. You're operating on, all right, one of ours, 10 of yours. Even when you look at the hostage the situation, Hamas had to let go of all the hostages they had, which was 20, and Israel let go of the hostages or detainees, many people who didn't have trials or anything like that, and they had over 2,000. And so you're looking at, when you're looking at the scale of what's going on, and not to just sit here and beat up on Israel, because all of us are doing it. It's just one of the most egregious examples we can have. You just see society. We're about revenge. We're about payback, and we got to get over that part if we're going to really truly do what we're supposed to do, which is trying to get more so to being fair to one another, being true to one another, or justice. And so right now, you see it all through society, where people are just, we want revenge. We don't want to make things work and things be fair. We want revenge. Our current president operates out of revenge. He has made revenge okay and acceptable to some people. You see it manifesting in everyday life. And that's one of the big problems, because it swings both ways. If we look at the president, if we're going to keep a real world example and look at the president and his current administration, some of the things that they're doing is trying to get revenge on people who he doesn't like, who he thinks that have done him wrong. And the administration has been complicit in doing the same thing. Everybody who works with him is like, all right, we're going to bring this person to court, and even though we know nothing really was wrong, we're just going to try to get revenge. And the question comes is, well, when the shoe comes on the other foot, when this president is no longer in office and a new administration comes in, how do they react? Do they seek revenge on those folks? And so it becomes a cycle of revenge and a cycle of just payback and get back. And people feel good about revenge, They feel good about making sure that they got their payback. You should hurt the way that you hurt me. Is what, a lot of folks go on. But we have to be better than that as Christians. We have to be better than that as people of faith. And we have to be able to understand the difference between revenge and justice, I feel like. And I think that's the problem. Like, culturally, we're now in this muddied area where we don't know the difference. One of the things that is going on right now is that we have a situation of where a lot of the states have decided that they're going to redo their districts, redo their voting districts, in order that the current Congress, the Republicans in Congress, can have more seats. Right? And so they're redrawing how the districts work. So if they have 14 districts or 14 areas where they're going to be able to have a House of Representatives, people in Congress, they're trying to make it so that they gerrymander, if you know what that is, and rejigger and recreate them so that they can get more seats. So right now in North Carolina, they've done it. There's 14 seats. Republicans have 10. The Democrats have 4. They're trying to rework it so that the Democrats can have 11. The Republicans can have 11 and the Democrats get 3. And their move is, we want to make sure that we kind of make it so that we can, cheat to win, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. And so the thought process is, well, if, and it won't happen, but if the Democrats in North Carolina then can be able to get control, that they can get revenge and try to rejigger everything into their favor. And so it becomes a cycle of just when we get in power, we're going to cheat it for us. And then when you get in power, you can cheat it for you. Um, and so that's a little bit less of revenge but it's the get back. And so at no point does anybody ever just sit back and say, well, why don't we just make it so that it's fair and so that it's right and so that we can be represented in the correct way so people can have their voice heard and we can just represent it in the right way. Because culturally, we haven't thought like that. Because all we think about is we want to win, and then if you do us dirty, we'll do you dirty the next time we get in. And no one's ever thinking about, well, when is it time to do the right thing? And I think that what is hard is if it's every time it's your turn, you do the wrong thing. And when it's my turn, I do the right thing. Well, then you'll get the betterment of the situation because you'll always be able to do the wrong thing when it's your turn and I'm doing the right thing. And you'll always get over it. I can never fix the things that you did because I'm just doing the right thing. Where if you did wrong and then I did wrong, we're both doing wrong and it might be a little bit more fair because both of our wrongs will kind of negate each other or they'll swing both ways. And so that's the tough part is that it's hard to do if somebody else has done wrong for you to step up and you to do right. Because if you do right, the reality is you're going to have to sacrifice. Because in order for it to get back to being fair or even or equal, you would have to do wrong to combat their wrong. And so right now in society, that's what we have to think about. And that's one of the things that we have to do is, people are struggling with that concept of if I do right, then I'm going to lose out on my opportunity to get back what was taken from me and what I lost. If somebody stole something from you, you can go back and steal it from them. Or somebody stole something from you, you can call the cops and hopefully the cops will come and they'll do stuff like that, but you'll probably never get your goods back and you'll never be made whole. So then how do you get justice? And so that's why people then turn around and say, well, I might as well just seek the revenge. Our current president has made revenge okay, so that those who feel that civil rights and affirmative action infringed upon their rights are now trying to get revenge. Yeah. And that's one of the big deals of what's going on. The reality of the matter is, our current climate here in the United States is just a big revenge tour. It's a revenge tour from civil rights. It's a revenge tour from affirmative action. It's a revenge tour from the fact that we had a Black president. So we had ours, and now they need to get revenge. How dare Black people get to, do stuff and give out health care to people. And so we have the most people under health care that we've ever had. And so it's a revenge tour. And revenge has become okay. So through our political leaders, we got revenge being normalized. Through movies and culturally, we got revenge being normalized. You think about your music, a lot of times in music, the same way. It's the big payback. You're talking about revenge. It's been such a big deal and ingrained in our culture that I think that we don't even know sometimes the difference between revenge and, justice. Or we don't even know sometimes the difference between, we don't even know we're seeking revenge. We just think that we're doing the right thing. And I think that that's one of those cultural things that's kind of just seeped in, and we're all just looking for a little bit of payback. And unfortunately, we've been taught we taught ourselves wrong, but we're teaching others wrong. And we need to be, thinking a little bit more about, well, are we being vengeful here? Are we trying to just get revenge, or are we trying to do the right thing? Are we trying to get payback because they did wrong, or are we trying to just make sure that we're doing it the right way? And I think that's the problem. And we do. If you cut on the TV anytime, and because the leader of our country is bent on revenge and has no kind of moral background, and the people with him have no kind of moral background or compass to be able to know the difference between what's right and what's wrong and what's revenge and not. What it does is it makes everybody else Like, all right, we're gonna get you when it's our turn. And then, but that's us just falling into the trap of revenge. Yeah. All right. Well, we're way past our time. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning. But yeah, it's a thought and a concept that we really have to look at. Look at revenge. Look at how we're that slippery slope of sliding into that. Is that what we're doing? Are we looking for revenge instead of just looking for what's right? Are we looking for revenge instead of trying to seek out what justice is? All right. Well, as a reminder, on Thursdays, we have Thursday Thirst. That's our weekly Bible study at 7 o'clock. On Sundays, we have a worship service at 10 a.m., Facebook and YouTube, and in person. On Tuesdays at 7, from 7 to 7:45, we have our time of prayer. And of course, at 8, we have Impact 2025. I want to thank everybody again for the comments. And then join us again next week. All right.
Sometimes you'll wonder if you will be all you can be, and doubts can cloud